Hey everybody, my name is Greg. This is my first ever video blog, and I'm making this because I have a very exciting announcement. This weekend I went up to Toronto to try out for the Team Canada Northwind squad for Australian rules football. And I'm very excited to say that I have made the team and that next year I'll be going to Melbourne, Australia to compete in the 2017 International Cup. I'm super excited. It's something that this year I set as a goal for myself. And so because of that, I'm going to be making a series of blogs or vlogs where I kind of chronicle the next year, the steps that we have to take as a team, the steps that I personally have to take in order to be successful next year against over 20 other countries that are going to be competing for the International Cup. I'm super excited. It's a goal that I set for myself personally at the end of last year, and I started to think about what I wanted to do with my Australian rules football career and what I wanted to try to accomplish in the next year. And I set a goal for myself that I would try to make Team Canada in time for next year's tournament. I didn't realize at the time that they'd be holding tryouts on this Labor Day weekend, almost a year ahead of the tournament. So I thought I had a little bit more time, but it was something that every time I went to the gym or every time I was in practice, I used as a motivator and as something to really kind of push myself when things were hurting, or when I'd come home from work and I wasn't really up for it. It was something that I said, this is what you're working towards and this is what needs to be done. So 3 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be introduced to the sport while living in Halifax. I was living with Miles at the time, and the whole summer he kind of said, hey, you got to try this sport out. It's something that is really cool. You got to come out. And I was kind of skeptical. Finally, middle of July, he said, come out, give it a try. So I did. And it's something that since then has really changed my life and really introduced me to so many awesome people that I wouldn't have met otherwise. The guys down in Halifax, Miles, Chris made the team as well, Jonah, who's Australian. These are the guys who really kind of introduced me to the sport and gave me an opportunity to learn the basic skills over the probably 6 or 7 weeks that I played with them, and for that I'm super grateful. When I came back to Ottawa, I sent an email, and by the time, I think it was about round 2, I joined and started practicing with the team, and by round 4, the 4th game of that season, I was playing and I was in the team. And I remember that first game, 3 minutes after I got on the field, I took a good mark, which is, for those who don't know the sport, it's when you catch the ball off of a kick and you get to go back and have a free kick. So I took a pretty good mark. I was pretty excited, and then this guy completely smashed me, just ran me over right after I caught the ball. I got up, I went back, and then I immediately kicked it at the guy who was standing on the mark. So that was my first taste of Aussie rules football with the Ottawa Swans. Heading into the tryout, I was super nervous. Like I said, I worked at this for a year. And finally, leading up to the Labor Day weekend, it's like, okay, it's here. What's going to happen? Am I going to be able to perform on the day? I knew that, I was kind of on the bubble. I wasn't part of the Team Canada program before this. So the whole week I was just thinking, what's going to happen? Am I going to be able to perform? Where's my fitness at compared to these guys? And it was pretty nerve-wracking. And being able to go down with Alex and Jordan from the Swans, and another number of other guys, and be able to say, okay, we're doing this together. We were all really supportive of each other, and that made it really easy to go and perform and to do the things that I've been preparing for all year, the things that I knew I needed to do in order to make the team and be successful. Having guys there who I was comfortable with and who I knew, and we were able to get around each other at the end of the day and say, hey, that was awesome. That was really helpful for me. It was just awesome being on the field with players of that caliber, where it's kind of interesting. That you're hot all the time. That there's guys on you all the time, but you also know that, there's 3 guys screaming for the ball as an option, and there's a couple of guys trying to shepherd to help you out. So it's a faster game, but you also, have the opportunity to give the ball off quicker. And you're a little bit more protected, even though it's so hot. It was nerve-wracking, but once you get into the game, you're in. and you can't really think twice about what you're doing out there, or else it's going to be too late. This was just the first step. Making the team was step number one. Now it's building as a team to the point where we can win the International Cup and we can actually go to Australia and come first and take home the big trophy. That's our goal for the year. We're 30 guys going to Australia as a unit, as a family, all towards one goal. And it's going to be something that over the next year we're going to have to work towards, and it's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of effort put in, and that's going to make it all the more rewarding when we are standing in the middle of the MCG, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, holding the trophy as the best country in the world. The next thing for me is that the Ottawa Swans will be playing in the finals, which is the playoffs. So this weekend, to September 10th, at 2 p.m. we'll be playing our first round of the playoffs against the Toronto Dingoes. The game's at 2 p.m. if anybody wants to come out. 1600 Bankfield Road, just off the 416. It's the Manatee Polo Club. Bring a lawn chair. We'll be selling barbecue and drinks. It's an awesome sport. If you're watching it and you've never tried and you're wondering what I'm talking about, take a look. There's clubs across the country, and just go out and try it. It's an absolutely incredible sport. And once you try it and you kind of get the hang of it and you figure out what's going on and you meet the guys and you get around each other, it's an amazing sport, and I can guarantee you'll love it and you'll be hooked. You really get an opportunity to meet a lot of people who, it forms a community really quickly because there's not a lot of people in Canada who do play this sport. And what I find really cool about this sport is we could go together in Toronto on a long weekend and, with 45 other guys, have this thing that we all share in common, and this thing that kind of is a common bond that we can all talk about and really brings everybody together right away. And that's something that for me has really been why I've spent so much time in the sport for the last 3 years. I mean, I love playing it, I love practicing, but it's an awesome group of people that I've been fortunate enough to meet. So yeah, so if you like this video, follow along as we keep going, and like and share it and help spread the awareness of Australian football in Canada. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.